Oh my goodness. If you're a songwriter sitting at home, writing songs and recording some basic ideas on your laptop or phone, but don't have any other musicians or songwriters to collaborate with, this might be the answer to those problems. Because DigiTech have created a pedal called the Trio Plus that is essentially designed to be what they call a band creator and looper. But what I want to show you today in this video is how, for songwriters, this pedal can do so many amazing and creative things and essentially act like a collaborative partner. What I love about this pedal and what I want to show you today is not only how tactile it is and how much fun to play with it is, but how this can be so useful at the beginning of the songwriting process to generate ideas and give you options that you might not have considered. And this is not a sponsored video. I'm in no way affiliated with the company or this particular product. I just love finding different tools that help songwriters not feel so isolated and alone in the songwriting process, that actually help us move forward with our songwriting in a more collaborative way, even if that collaboration comes through a pedal. Essentially, the pedal works by playing ideas into it. The pedal then detects the tempo, and it also detects the chords or the notes you're playing, and it essentially creates a bass and a drum track to go with what you've just played. And this is really interesting because if you've just got a little idea for a song, but you're not sure what the bass or the drum should sound like, the pedal is going to give you lots of different options, and we're going to be able to toggle between the genre and the style switches to get some very unexpected elements. And I haven't prepared anything because I wanted to come up with something original on the spot and see how the pedal responds. So if we just take a chordal groove to start with, imagine you've got two chords that you're bouncing back and forth between. So I'll set the genre here to R&B, and I'll set the style round to number 1. And I'll hit the band button here. And when it flashes red, it's ready for me to play something into it. 2, 3, 4, and... Now we can adjust the volume of the bass and the drums. So we'll just take the bass down. Now that groove's pretty predictable. And the bass is just following the chords very simply. But there's this button here that says simple bass. And if we hit that off, now we get a more interesting bass line. Already we can see that as a backing track, this is very useful. And I'm interested in using it as a backing track to start writing some melodic ideas or even some lyrical ideas. But before we do that, let's look at all the different genre and style options we've got to play with, because this is where I think the pedal becomes really exciting. That groove we just heard was not unsurprising, but if we press it again and start playing around with genre first, we'll start with blues. Funkier. Rock. So those genre switching options are really interesting. Not all of them sound good and not all of them sound appropriate, but there's a few in there that actually take the song in a different direction to what I was originally thinking. And this is exciting as a songwriter, when you've got something in mind and then you get another input that takes the idea in a different direction, that changes the course of that idea that you're working on. I'm going to leave it on R&B and just come across to the style knob here. This is also a lot of fun. Now you heard there that it took us to a swung feel, and that's also really interesting when you're in a straight 4/4 kind of groove and then you mess with the tune so it becomes swung 6/8 or 3/4. That can create a lot of unexpected and really great sounding results. So remember, all I did was play 2 chords, a G major and a C major chord, into the pedal at a particular groove. The pedal then detected the groove, detected the chords, and created drum tracks and bass lines for those 2 chords. Now I can go back and put the looper on. The other great thing about this pedal is the ease with which you can blend the elements and mix the volumes. So that loop I just created, the little chordal vamp, that's the volume for that there. This is the volume for the bass, and this is the volume for the drum. So you can mix them how you want to get the right sound. But at this point, with a 2-chord vamp, I would then be in a position as a songwriter to go, great, that feels like a good platform to build on. Let's start introducing some melodic ideas. Well, around the road, and around the road, having a razor on, grabbing around the sun, moving around the rain, humming a word around, hearing the bubble down, about it down, and there I'm just creating gibberish. I'm just mumbling, little melodic phrases. But the phrases are coming to mind because I'm responding to the track that we're building within the pedal. And it's arguable that if I'd have just done it this way, I might still have come up with that melody or those little melodic ideas. But somehow I feel that's not true. Somehow the groove of the bass and the drums in combination with that chordal idea is what's getting me to think and feel those melodies that come to mind. And again, I have no sense of what I want to say at this point. There's no lyrics that are really clear. I'm just playing around with the different musical options and the different musical directions this idea could take. So I like that as a little, melodic idea. I might just record that in there. So I'm going to try something more delicate now. I'm going to move between an E minor 9 and a C major 7. And I want to give it a finger picking kind of feel to see how the pedal responds to something more nuanced and subtle. 1, 2, 3, 4, and... Nope. Okay, let's try the jazz option. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So I was never intending for that idea to have a jazzy kind of vibe, and yet the jazz option on this genre switch gave me the most pleasing result when I was searching through them. And this is again why it's so much fun to play with a pedal like this, because it's so tactile, and being able to turn between the different options and hear in real time what it throws back at you, it just feels so creative and playful. And also, I can't stress this enough, I never would have come up with that groove on my own. I never would have instructed a drummer, if I was sitting with a drummer, to play that kind of feel. Now, the great thing about playing with a real drummer in a room is that they'll give you so many different unexpected ideas, and they'll sound better and, more organic, because it's a real human sitting behind the kit. But if you don't have a drummer who's next door, who can quickly come over and set up their kit, this is just an incredible alternative, and a very creative one. So in this particular case, the way I write is I generally think in terms of small melodic fragments. So with this kind of groove, I'm looking for something that's not too busy, not getting in the way, but really matches the mood of what's been created. The other great thing about this pedal is you can then use these sequence sections along the top. These sequence buttons allow you to essentially move between sections of the song as you create them. So now I want to look for the chord progression to develop and go somewhere. I've started with the E minor 9. I've gone to the C major 7. Now I need another chord. I'm thinking maybe A minor 7. That sounds nice. That's too jazzy. That's nice. So maybe A minor to the F, back to the E, to a G. Okay, so we'll try that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now it's a good chance to actually play around with the style and get a different style to what we had in the first section. Let's see what happens when we go back. Okay. We've got the halftime feel. That's great fun. We'll make the bass busier. And there we have two highly contrasting sections that, again, have come up quite quickly. They've come about because I was just looking for some chords to feed into the pedal. The pedal then gave me back all of these options to play with, and the ease with which we can move around these genre and style knobs means that you can create contrast very quickly. And contrast between sections is such an important consideration for us as songwriters. We're looking to take the listener on a journey. We're looking to make it interesting and try and create some movement and some motion and do things differently as we go through the different sections. You can, of course, do this inside a DAW, and I would often sit and do this in a DAW and create a track that way. But having it on the desk or having it on the floor and being able to just mess with it in this very tangible, tactile way, it just feels good. It's fun. Let's do one more, and this time we'll try it in the indie songwriter kind of vibe with a driving pulse. Something like this. 3, 4. Oh my goodness. I mean, that is not what I was expecting. It is a lot of fun though. Now the reason it's giving me that is because I had it set to E-pop. Let's now go back to alt-rock. Folk. So that feels like a nice A section that we could work with. And this feels like a great, just unexpected, I don't know what this is. So this is definitely one of those moments where, as I was counting that off and playing that original idea, in fact, I can't remember what the original idea was. I was playing that, and in my mind I was hearing something subtle and subdued, and instead the first thing that jumped out, because the genre was set to E-pop, was this. Which is just so much fun. That's an idea that I would like to develop and play with more. And that's the beauty of not just sitting here by yourself trying to come up with ideas. The beauty of having something that you can input ideas into and have it respond in an unexpected way is that you will get so many more ideas to work with. Having this prompt, having this pedal throw something back that was completely unexpected has changed everything about the way this song will now develop. And that, for me, as a songwriter, is incredibly exciting, to have essentially a little songwriting partner sitting on the desk saying, hey, maybe you should try this. Happy songwriting, happy experimenting. Bye.